Hi, I'm Alex Catchpole from Organogy, and I'm very passionate about my health and your health and the planet's health. And I'm really interested in this sweet spot where self-love and service to others meets and an abundance of energy is made available to oneself. I hope you can keep up. I realise people have a short attention span, so I don't want to bore people. Hopefully not, as today we're going to be doing chocolate, the healthiest chocolate that I've ever come across. So we're going to minimise the unhealthy sweeteners as much as possible, and we do that by mellowing out the bitterness of the cacao. So we're going to use a cacao paste, which is the cacao powder, with a little bit of the cacao butter. We add further amounts of butter, some nut butter for a crunch effect, some buckwheat. You can use almonds or cashews. Here we've actually soaked and activated the buckwheat and then dehydrated them to give them that crunchiness. And then for some sweetener, some raisins, and then this is very important, some vanilla powder. Very expensive, so we're going to use basically as much as what you can afford. So no, within reason. So a teaspoon, and it ends up being a very flat teaspoon, but yeah, that vanilla is very essential. And then the sweetener of choice today is coconut sugar, and we can use a lot less of it because we've got these other flavours which mellow out the bitterness of the cacao. So people are obviously going to want weights of ingredients, but to keep it simple today, we're going to do it as relationship 2. So it doesn't matter how much cacao paste you use, you want to use the same. So we're using 50 grams today, but you can use whatever. Not to confuse things, we're not going to do weights, we're going to do relationships. So, the relationship, cacao paste, very bitter. We mellow that by using equal amounts of cacao butter. We also use equal amounts of the crunchy ingredient of your choice. We're using buckwheat today. Equal amounts of raisins. Equal amounts of coconut sugar. And then a teaspoon of the vanilla. And then half the cacao weight in nut butter. We don't want the nut butter to overtake the flavour. We still want it to be nice and chocolatey. So, in keeping with Blue Peter's old setup, here's one I prepared earlier. So the cacao paste has a higher melting point than the butter. So I finely chop the cacao paste and melt it on a low heat to preserve the integrity of the chocolate. Then melt the butter, then the tahini or other nut butter, and then add the vanilla. And then when that's all melted up deliciously, here's one I prepared earlier. I don't know if you can do it this way. Ooh. Some rather delicious chocolate. Pretty bitter. Actually, I quite like it. I haven't got such a sweet tooth, but still pretty bitter, but less bitter because of the extra butter and the tahini we've added. And then I've already weighed out the coconut sugar. So you give that a mix. It's really important you get it really well mixed in. It's not on the heat, but the porridge is still quite warm. And then equal buckwheat, raisins, equaling to the cacao paste. And just mix that all in. Give it another good mix round. So it's going to be like a fruit and nut version. The extra buckwheat is an extra ingredient to mellow out the bitterness of the cacao. I think I keep repeating myself, but you'll get the gist. And then the raisins obviously are a natural sweetener, so you can add less sugars or coconut sugar. And then, here we go, drops are good in. And then leave that to set on the surface for a good few hours. I did it super fast so I can keep your attention, but you can obviously rewind and replay it again to get this recipe. But this is a tried and tested recipe which I've refined over many years. And I'm going to use it as bait to get people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you share this on Facebook and also subscribe to YouTube, PM me your address and I will send you a sample of this chocolate. Can't do any harm, can it? I've only got 4 subscribers at the minute. Let's see how many we can get interested. It's good chocolate and I'll send it to you. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Link below.